Mistonia's Hope: The Lost Delight is the latest Otome project to arrive in the West through Aksys Games. The setup seems like a classic fairy tale at first, where a young woman becomes a maid for the heir of the most powerful noble household in a fantasy country ruled by a fairy queen. Now, it could have been a sweet romance if either of them were living honest lives, but Aprose Randolph has no intention of playing her role straight. She is here for revenge, and let's unpack that in this review.
まさか眉一つ動かしてもらえないなんて。
Mistonia's Hope: The Lost Delight opens with the introduction of Aprose, whose childhood ended the day her noble family was wiped out under the orders of the Queen Tia, who wanted to use her as a vessel. She survived, but she lost her home, her status, and any sense of safety. Years later, she is no longer the naive girl that she once was. Her goal now is to topple the noble houses and strike back at the queen. To get close to her targets, she disguises herself and enters House Bernstein as a maid. The family holds influence across the country and brings the other households together, making it the ideal place to gather information. Because Mistonia's Hope is an Otome game, each house is represented by a handsome young man tied to major events that shapes the nation. Aprose, and I'm only just now considering that her name should be pronounced Aprose, never abandons her revenge, but she struggles to handle the emotional weight of her situation. She acts strong and stubborn, sometimes manipulative, but the tragedy in her past left her emotionally stunted. She tries to protect herself with walls, yet she is still a kind girl at heart. Romance in this story takes time to build, not because she is passive, but because she doesn't fully understand what she feels. Outside of the romance, she is bold, decisive, and reckless. She often prioritizes revenge even when it puts her at risk, which gives her route structure a sharper edge than most heroines in the genre. There are 6 potential love interests, though only 3 routes are available on the first playthrough. These include the heir of each noble family along with John, the man who supported Aprose ever since her life fell apart. Edward Bernstein is the first character that the game introduces. He's warm, princely, and treats everyone on equal footing. His route, however, is locked at the start, making him someone the player must work up to. Lucas Sullivan sits at the opposite end of the spectrum, and while he also treats everyone equally as well, his default expression is irritation rather than charm. Over time, it becomes clear that his anger hides a gentler side. Alfred Cresswell is quiet, serious, and hard to read. He rarely smiles and approaches situations with a cool, methodical mindset, whereas Linus Ward feels like a counterpoint to that. He is bubbly and friendly, but he remains loyal to the Queen and carries a heavy attachment to someone from his past. His route touches on themes of duty that contrasts with Aprose's personal quest. Then, Ascot Lindell is another character whose route must be unlocked. He is a carefree womanizer who treats life like a series of amusements. He pushes Aprose's buttons, sometimes intentionally, and his presence adds a different kind of tension to the group dynamic. And then finally there's John, who has been by Aprose's side longer than anyone and clearly cares about her well-being. He has secrets of his own, but in every route he acts as her closest ally, helping her gather the information that she needs. Beyond the main endings, each route includes what the game calls an astray ending. These occur when another love interest tries to draw Aprose away from the current path. These aren't simple bad endings, but instead they serve as alternative branches that explore parts of the cast and world that the main routes might not highlight. I felt like they worked as an extra piece of the character insight and expanded the sense of choice during replays. Further, Mistonia's Hope includes exploration segments during the common route that let the player choose locations within the manor to visit. These scenes give a better sense of how the characters behave outside major plot moments and reinforce Aprose's goal of collecting information. There are also shards, which are items that reveal important details about the setting when collected. These systems matter for progression, and ignoring them will prevent character routes from unlocking and lead to an early bad end. Now, starting over means repeating these segments, which can get a little tiresome, especially for players who want to rewatch specific scenes rather than replay entire chapters. Still, Otome built a few features to help with this, like the flowchart that lets players jump to any chapter while adjusting shard and trust values to avoid unwanted endings. Skip to choice quickly jumps past long scenes to the next new moment of dialogue branches. When put together, these tools make cleanup and route hunting less of a slog. I did notice a couple typos scattered throughout the game, but they rarely affect comprehension, and they are far lighter than the issues seem to some other titles like Cafe Enchante. Most readers will breeze past them without breaking immersion, but a couple of them stood out to me. Mistonia's Hope, The Lost Delight is a compelling Otome visual novel that follows a heroine driven by grief, purpose, and messy emotions. It handles revenge through a romantic lens without softening what Aprose has been through. The slow burn suits her growth, and each route offers a different perspective on her struggle to claim a future without letting go of her past. The romance, the political intrigue, and the emotional conflict works together to create a layered story that feels different from the typical pure-hearted Otome narrative. Aprose is flawed, active, and often frustrating, which makes her journey more interesting to follow. Further, the exploration features and astray endings round things out, giving players more ways to learn about the cast and uncover pieces of the world. Despite a couple rough edges, Mistonia's Hope delivers a thoughtful mix of romance and revenge and offers a heroine whose conflicts give the story depth. It stands out as a strong addition to the Otome lineup in the West, especially for players who enjoy slower, emotionally tangled character arcs wrapped in a fantasy setting. Noisy Pixel is giving Mistonia's Hope, The Lost Delight an 8.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth and subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.